If you guys are unfamiliar, this is Ray Comfort on the left, and on the right is a young Kirk Cameron. Now, these two nutter butters have been going on TV for decades and decades, trying to convince people that the Earth is 6,000 years old, and if you don't believe that, then you're no better than an atheist. So here's Ray Comfort's probably most famous video. I want to show you who he is, give you a little introduction to him if you're unfamiliar, because I want to talk about this article that he released on his website recently. Living Waters is his website. Why Mass are a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. So I wanted to read this article, but let me just show you who this guy is first. Listen to this clip from Ray Comfort.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves, on the close side 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other.
Dude, I am trying so hard to avoid that's what she said jokes. I am doing my best. I can't handle this anymore.
You'll find, as with the soda can makers, they placed a tab at the top. So God has placed a tab at the top. When you pull the tab, the contents don't squirt in your face.
Oh my God, please, man, I can't.
You'll find the wrapper, which is biodegradable, has perforations. Notice how gracefully it sits over the human hand. Notice it has a point at the top for ease of entry. It's just the right shape for the human mouth.
I can't. I cannot do this. This is too much for me. I love it, dude. Okay, well, here's the thing about bananas. They were not created by God. They were actually created by man. We artificially selected for this exact type of banana. That's why what he's saying right now is so ridiculous, or one of the many reasons why. Guy has no idea what he's talking about. Never did. He's a young Earth creationist who believes the Earth is 6,000 years old, and if you don't believe that, you are wrong and evil and you're going to hell. That's the bottom line. That's why people call him the Banana Man. So, yeah, I wanted to read this article by him, now that we all have this vivid image in our head, and see what he had to say about this whole problem here. Why mass or fulfillment of Bible prophecy. This is released February 15th, 2023. When there were 2 mass 18 people within 3 days of each other, I sent a text to our director of social media strategies suggesting we produce a video about how mass was a sign of the end of the age. Yeah, he's a far-right Republican, by the by, if you didn't already catch on to that. He's a Republican nutter butter who will do anything to further the Republican agenda. I don't actually know if he voted for Trump, but I would be surprised if he didn't. Actually, I think he's Australian, isn't he? Does he live in the U.S.? I don't know. He said it would be an important video, but recommended that we wait a while to show some sensitivity to the families of the victims. I replied that there had been 39 attacks across the U.S. in the first 3 weeks of 2023. Yup. Exactly right. More than 1 per day. In other words, there wasn't going to be a gap for sensitivity. The horror of these attacks have become a part of daily living in modern America, and it's clearly not going to slow down anytime soon. FYI, in case you didn't catch on, I'm kind of censoring the words a little bit. I'm still trying to deliver the idea. There is no book like the Bible. It is not only the #1 best-selling book of all time, it's also the world's most loved and arguably the world's most hated book. In a morally depraved world, it tells us right from wrong. No, it doesn't actually tell us right from wrong at all. You know what it does tell us? There is a verse in the Bible to justify literally any moral position. Literally any. You can go to this place called, so it's lyingforjesus.org, lyingforjesus.org/Bible-contradictions. Bible and contradictions, first letter is capitalized. If you just go here, you can hover over any of these spots, and it will show you the contradictions and how many there are, basically. There are a lot of contradictions here. There is literally there's a Bible verse for any moral stance that you want to take. Any moral stance. Cruelty and violence. Let's just take a look at this one. Deuteronomy, cruelty and violence. There are a billion verses. Chapter 1, verse 3-4. Chapter 1, 30. Chapter 2, 14-16. I mean, a billion verses about it. This website is actually really awesome. You should check it out if you haven't seen it already. But the point is, if you have a moral position, you can justify it with a Bible verse. Literally any moral position. So, again, it does not tell us right from wrong. You find your position that you like the best. You find the verses that back it up, and then you tout those around. like they mean something. It speaks to our origins, our purpose, why we die, how we overcome death itself. No other book comes anywhere near doing that. And then, on top of all of this, it is axiomatic. Yeah, that's just nonsense. There are other holy books that do this type of thing. What's it even talking about? That is, it establishes itself as God's word to humanity because of its amazing prophecies. Only God knows the future, and he's given us the future in his word. Yeah, the Bible doesn't fulfill any prophecies. I'm sorry. It's complete nonsense. In fact, a lot of the stuff that, like a lot of the verses the Bible supplies, or a lot of the prophecies that the Bible gives to us, were written after these things already happened. And the ones that were written before were vague at best. Like, one day the nation of Israel will be destroyed. One day the nation of Israel will be reestablished. These are really, really vague. Like, I don't care if those things happened. Literally anybody could have flipped a coin and guessed at those things. Anyways, keep reading here. Look at the specificity of the words of Jesus when describing two of the signs of the end of this age. And because lawlessness will abound, the love of many will grow cold, but he who endures to the end shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Okay, so what? What's the point here? I don't understand. This is so incredibly, ridiculously vague. It could apply to literally any point in history in the past 2,000 years. It's like everything Jesus listed, earthquakes and war and rumors of war and all that stuff, you can't point to a single 5-year period in history in the past 2,000 years where it wouldn't have applied to that point in history. Oh, he's from New Zealand. I'm sorry. Yeah, for some reason I thought it was Australia, but yeah, he's a Kiwi apparently. I don't know if he votes in the US. Probably not, since he's from New Zealand. It certainly is true that an abounding of lawlessness in contemporary society has made it easy to become callous, perhaps as a coping mechanism. The key to understanding this prophecy is in the word lawlessness. Honestly, the United States, the whole world, is becoming a better place to live as time goes on. I know it doesn't always seem like it, but poverty is down worldwide dramatically from what it was 100 or even 200 years ago. Racism, hatred, misogyny, all this stuff is down in the United States particularly from what it was even 50 years ago. The world is getting better, not worse. Has been for years, but that doesn't fit their narrative. It's a direct reference to the 10 Commandments. Whoever commits sin also commits lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. Prolific lawlessness, a complete forsaking of the 10 Commandments, is a sign of the end of the age. Let's quickly run through them and see if we as a nation have done that. Prolific lawlessness or forsaking the 10 Commandments? Okay, that's interesting. Well, here's the thing. The 10 Commandments are part of the old law. 613 commandments is actually how many there were originally. And the first 10 aren't really separated from any of the others. They're just as important. So here's the real question. Why is it that you eat shellfish or pork or wear polyester? This stuff is banned explicitly in the commandments. You know why he doesn't obey those commandments? Because Jesus fulfilled them. He completed it. You don't have to do that anymore. He boiled it down to 2 new ones. Love God with your whole heart, soul, mind, body, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. Those are the new commandments that you're supposed to follow. The old ones are done away with. Also why we don't do animal sacrifice anymore. So I don't care what the Bible has to say about the 10 Commandments. It's irrelevant to a Christian world today. Unless you're a niche version of Christian called a Messianic Jew, it's irrelevant. The first commandment instructs us to make God the focus of our affections. That certainly isn't the case in contemporary America. Yeah, that's because we have the First Amendment of the Constitution that says we're allowed to say or think or do or believe whatever we want without consequence. The First Amendment contradicts the First Commandment. The First Commandment says you must obey God, the God of the Israelites, Yahweh or whatever. The First Amendment says you're allowed to do whatever you want. You don't have to do that. They contradict each other. That certainly isn't the case in contemporary America. Instead, we've created a lawless God in our own image and violated the second. Blasphemy has become part of the culture, and setting aside one day for rest is no longer practiced by most. That's because it's part of the old law. You don't need that. Jesus fulfilled the old law. Why is he bringing up the old law? Parental honor has been undermined by the secular world. In what way? And murder in mass has become commonplace. Adultery is no longer frowned upon. Well, the murder in mass, the gun violence thing, that is exclusively because Ray Comfort and his friends, people like him, have lobbied like nobody else to prevent anybody from fixing this problem. What's his solution? Force people to follow the 10 Commandments. What's our solution as people on to the left of hunting the homeless for sport? Regulate guns. You know, that line in the Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia necessary to the protection of a free state or something like that. Or the preservation of a free state. I don't remember now. That one line is completely ignored by people like Ray Comfort. And it is causing this entire mess. Adultery is no longer frowned upon. Are you kidding me? You think that people's wives encourage them to cheat? What kind of a fantasy land does this dude live in? Adultery, cheating on your spouse is encouraged? It's literally impossible to cheat on your spouse if they encourage you to, right? Theft and lying are rampant, and covetousness has become the catalyst of successful advertising. More, bigger, and better is best. Well, dude's starting to sound like a communist to me. There are a number of reasons why this nation has abandoned the 10 Commandments. One of them is because in the last 20 or so years, there's been a concerted effort by atheists to rid this country of the commandments. And through intimidation and threats of lawsuits, they've been effective in doing that. Wow. Intimidation, huh? These poor persecuted Christians who are trying to shove it down our throats are intimidating them and coercing them to stop shoving it down our throats. Shame on those atheists, huh? Atheists hate the moral law and Christians for the same reason criminals hate the police. I don't hate Christians at all. I love Christians like they're my brothers, because they are. We're all humans, right? It's like this dude has like a vested interest in convincing you that atheists are evil and hate you when they simply don't. Their venom was optimized on a t-shirt they produced. He's kind of categorizing everybody similarly there, isn't he? You know, if we all produced it as a group, atheists, where's my cut of the money for this t-shirt? Which said, too many Christians, not enough lions. I don't remember ever seeing that shirt. That's about as culturally sensitive as too many Jews, not enough Nazis. Too many blacks, not enough lynching robes. I was so annoyed by that shirt that I wrote a book called So Many Lions, So Few Daniels. I've never heard of this shirt before. I mean, who made this? Okay, it appears as though this website where I found the shirt is a pro-Christian website. Because look, pro-life, Indiana, don't tread on me with a cross, Lord of Lords, King of Kings with a cross. In event of rapture, you can have this shirt. This is a pro-Christian website, and then we've got So Many Christians, So Few Lions. This isn't an atheist shirt. This is a shirt saying that Christians need to be lions. They need to be ravenous for the kingdom. They need to fight for God and turn this into a Christian nationalist state. I've never seen this in any atheist circles, and I am one of the most prominent atheists on YouTube. I've never heard of this before from atheist circles. I think this is a Christian shirt, not an atheist shirt. Okay, so so now that he's gotten his persecution complex on record for us, let's keep reading. It was written to inspire, his book, So Many Lions, So Few Daniels, was written to inspire Christians to boldly stand up without compromise in a culture that hates God and his law. So would you say you need people to be more like lions than Christians? Is that kind of what you're getting at here? After Jesus spoke of lawlessness being a sign of the end of the age, he pointed to another often overlooked sign. He said that the gospel will be preached to all nations, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses use this verse to justify door knocking. Did you know that on May 6th of this year, this year, May hasn't come yet, so which year is he talking about? Oh, is he saying that this is going to happen? Millions of people from around the world will converge on London for the coronation of King Charles III? That already happened. Did you also know that we can play a part in fulfilling Bible prophecy? Not many realize it during the church service/coronation, because there's a state church, I believe. Charles will lay his hand on the Bible and promise to uphold its truths. and this will be witnessed on television and on the internet. In other words, the world is going to church. Just as the Apostle Paul quoted Greek poets as the bridge to reach his Athenian hearers in Acts, so are we going to use the coronation as a bridge to reach millions with the gospel. I can't believe that he doesn't realize having a state church is a bad thing, that's why America left Britain in the first place. Of course, he's from New Zealand, so. Thousands of Christians have already committed to go to London and give out memorabilia gospel tracts to the millions who will line the streets to celebrate the coronation of the king. When I first thought of this outreach, I made a short video and sent it to my team. As I then sat at my computer, I received an email from someone asking what I was presently working on. So I sent him the video, and he sent the ministry $200,000. Oh my God, who has that kind of money to throw around? That's crazy. I showed somebody else the video, and they sent us $100,000. We are therefore able to make these beautifully designed tracts free of charge, along with free shipping. Be a Daniel. Be part of Bible prophecy. Watch this short video for details. And it's apparently been removed by the uploader. That's a shame. Yeah, so that's the end of the article. That's absolutely unhinged stuff, dude. And it's kind of funny to me that this guy's whole premise for hating atheists and thinking that they hate him is based on a lie. That is some shit, man. I don't know. This guy is just terrible. And so is his friend Kirk Cameron. They're both terrible. They're awful. I don't hate Christians. I love Christians as my brothers in humanity, as I hope that they feel about me. But the stuff that Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron peddle is pure, unadulterated fear, hate, and persecution. They are desperate to convince you that I hate you, when I simply don't. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I think this is absurd, as usual.